All right, and we're live. So this is the third episode of Music to Us podcast, and today I have on JT. Would you like to say hello, JT?
Well, hello there.
And how are you doing, my friend?
Just got out of work so not bad.
Not bad? Yeah? You feel
Not
good
bad at
now
all.
that you're off of work?
Yes, very much so.
That's awesome, man. I know, it's crazy. It's like we had this conversation already.
Right?
Oh, what are you talking about? No, this is just a small talk. But yeah, man. I guess I'm going to ask a few questions about like what got you into the music scene. And we'll start from there. So what was your first introduction into the music scene? What got you into it?
Local music scene or
Um,
into like kind of the concert scene?
Let's start with concert scene, and then we'll go into the music scene or local scene.
Actually, it was high school.
Okay.
First ever like concert I went to, because we had like high school shows that didn't really count, but I don't think they counted, but we're going to go with it. Anyways, I got some fun stories about those if you want to talk about
Yeah,
those.
no,
But
go right ahead, man.
well,
Go
there
ahead.
was one we had. It was my 11th grade English teacher. His son was in a band called Last Conservative, and they were trying to think. This must have been 2000, because I graduated high school 2011, so this must have been like 2009, 2010, somewhere in there.
So it was one of the school shows? Like,
Yeah,
was it like a talent show?
no, it was a random show. I think because their band was almost like going somewhere, and so I said, "Hey, yeah, we'll set up a show." And it was like just kind of this. Best way I could describe it is kind of Under Oath meets Taking Back Sunday, and they had a baby,
Ooh,
and
that
it was
sounds
called Last
interesting.
Conservative. Yeah,
I like
they were
that.
actually really good.
That sounds awesome, actually.
Problem is, at that time, I was very judgmental. So I was always that guy who said, "What is this? You can't understand what they're saying." I was every stereotype that you can think of in terms of metal music. I was that guy, and I hate it.
So this is before like you got
So
into
yeah,
metal.
I was listening to like country music at this time.
Oh,
It was
hell
just
yeah.
pretty much it. You know how they say there's like two different types of emos. Mm-hmm. Pretty much, I was the Linkin Park, Papa Roach, 3 Days Grace.
Okay.
Like I was that emo. Like I was that side.
So like the alternative
So,
like rock
exactly.
side of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was that side. Like I listened to Last Resort almost every day. I had such a my music tastes have been so weird. But anyway, so his band was playing, and one of the guys there ended up crowd surfing.
Oh hell yeah! At a school show, you're crowd surfing. That is crazy. That's what's up.
After the song, the lead singer goes, "Guys, don't do that. We do not have insurance." So, needless to say, there's no more crowd surfing after that. But no, yeah. So that was kind of cool. Unfortunately, I think they all just it was just kind of like a high school thing. So they've since gone their ways. But yeah, no. So that was kind of cool. There was also another guy. It was two brothers actually. Jason Darling, do you know him? He was in Invictra for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
He was a
I
bassist, yeah.
I know Invictra.
Yeah, him and his brother were in a band called Laughing Gas.
Never heard.
Yeah,
of
it
that.
was a high school band thing, but it was those two and their best friend, and I think he was a drummer. The younger brother was bassist, then Jason actually was guitar and singing, and at that time he was huge into Enter Shikari.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea who this was. So they were pretty much an Enter Shikari like cover band, and Jason was getting into it. Like he could do the vocals, like he was insane as a frontman, and I'm just like, what is this? So that was kind of like my like I don't know what the hell I just listened to like time. So then fast forward a couple of years, and a buddy of mine says, he posts up on Facebook, he goes, "Hey, I have a free ticket, not making this up, 2013 at the Armory. I have a free ticket, February 2013, and we were freezing our asses off. It was like 20 degrees. Actually, I think it might have been below freezing, or below zero.
What show was it? You
It
said
was
at the Armory.
Yeah, at the Armory. It was Daughtry and Three Doors Down.
That's what's up.
And Daughtry headlined, and the only reason they headlined was because the keyboardist was from Rochester. So that was kind of cool. So that was kind of like my first ever like big show was Three Doors Down in Daughtry.
I have a funny story actually about Daughtry too. When I first got into music, I was playing. I was a part of this summer camp called Camp Rockstar, and I was one of the only bass players there. So I filled in for pretty much almost, I think, more than half of the bands there because there's just nobody playing
No one
bass.
had a bass, yeah.
So I ended up getting like this reward of MVP for the camp, and
Yes.
my fucking prize was to Skype with the Daughtry.
Oh, damn.
So they literally,
Nice.
so I got to talk with them over Skype in front
That
of
is
like the
awesome.
or the camp and everything, and they sent me like a paper plate award signed by Daughtry.
Please tell me you still have that.
It's somewhere at my mom's house, but I have a signed
That
paper
is
plate
awesome.
saying MVP of Camp Rockstar, and then they signed at the
It's
bottom.
amazing. You know what? That might be worth some money. I mean, I'm just saying, it might be worth something.
Yeah, Jacob Rathbun MVP, Daughtry at the bottom.
Dude, I'm not gonna like Daughtry's old stuff. I absolutely loved, and then he kind of like really mellowed out, which I know is weird to say for Daughtry, but he kind of mellowed out. So I kind of like,
You kind of lost interest.
yeah. I mean,
shout out to
the-
Daughtry. Don't hate me or anything. I don't listen to you as much.
right, yeah. Sorry,
I
Daughtry.
think you
Yeah,
have one song that I listen to. Can't even name it.
my music got a little bit heavier after that. And my parents hate me for it. Anyways, no. So actually, so then after that, fast forward to college, my buddy Mike, who I kid you not, on his driver's license, looked like Jesus. He had the hair, he had everything. He looked like Jesus. I'm like, wow. He was a really cool dude, but he got me into like a lot of like the bigger name bands that we all now know and love, and beat people up over. No, he got me into the A Day to Remembers. He got me into just a lot of those type of bands. So, and then after that, because I was still kind of like wasn't sure if I enjoyed this,
Right.
and
You were still testing the waters.
yeah, kind of, because I'm just like, I don't get this. Like, I was still listening to Toby Keith, and like,
Toby Keith
yeah.
was my shit. I loved Toby Keith.
I was listening. Yeah, I was still listening to like Toby Keith. I was still waiting for like the new Tim McGraw album to come out. I was still listening to like just straight country music, and like I said, like 3 Days Grace and Breaking Benjamin. Like, those were my bands. Like, Breaking Benjamin is my absolute favorite band, like, ever. Them
They're
and Ghost Inside,
fantastic.
like 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And sad part is I don't have any Breaking Benjamin tattoos, but I have Ghost Inside tattoos.
When are you getting a Breaking Benjamin tattoo?
Well, I was going to, and then the world shut down.
I know, right? This
like-
COVID thing is crazy.
Seriously. And I was going to go see them because they were supposed to, I think, come to New York twice on their next tour.
Really?
Yeah, they were supposed to come through. And I'm just like, you suck.
Didn't they just put out like a new album too?
Yeah,
or something like that? I can't-
last year. Well, they put out an album in 20. What year are we in? 2020?
Yeah,
I think it
we're
was
in
like 2018, 2019.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
So about a year ago.
Ember, yeah, yeah. Which that one I love. And then they put out a covers album. Well, not even like a covers. It was like just like a reimagining of like their songs with like
that's
different
cool.
features. It was kind of cool, but I'm just like, It kind of took away what I liked about it because it kind of took out of like all like the heavy guitars and like all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's kind of like a drum, like a dumbed down. I don't want to say dumbed down version, but like
It's mellow.
a stripped down
Yeah,
version. I'm
yeah.
just like, I love you guys. Like I bought it still. I'm just like, but
They're great live. I
dude,
I saw
amazing.
them with Disturbed and
Darien Lake, 2017.
it was 2017, but I actually saw it at the Lake Amphitheater in
okay.
Syracuse.
Syracuse,
Yeah.
yep, yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I love that.
I've never been there.
It is absolutely gorgeous because it's like the way that it's set up is the stage is almost on like the a cliff almost, and it overlooks the water kind of. But it's like, oh, I stepped away from the mic. It's like, so the stage is
Because I think I've seen pictures of it. It's kind of like dipped
it's
down
like dipped
almost.
down
like,
because the lawn seats go up, but it kind of levels out once you get closer, and then you
Right.
got seating, and then the stage, and then probably about 150, 250 feet after that, there's like a drop, and then it's like water.
Right.
So you'll see people pulling up in their boats, just sitting there listening to the concert. For
Dude,
free.
I would in a
Dude,
heartbeat, man.
that would be so
like-
cool. Just pull up, be like, "Oh my god, yo, I got tickets to the show. It's free."
Seriously, just cruise up on your boat, be like, "What's up, dude?"
Pre-game on the boat.
Oh
just
yeah,
sit
dude.
there.
I would do that in a heartbeat, man, if I could, afford a boat. But that's beside that. That's for another time. That's for why we hate rich people. bitter millennials that hate rich people. Anyways, where were we going with this?
We were talking about
How
how
I
you
got
got
into
into music.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were talking about the
yeah.
beforehand, just music in general, and now it seems like we're leading up to more
Yeah,
local
right.
scene.
Sorry, yeah.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So an ex-girlfriend of mine was Attila, Motionless in White, Asking Alexandria, Bring Me the Horizon, like all
Okay.
those guys. So I got
Nice.
into all of that, and that was kind of after that. I'm just like, okay, this shit is like really good.
Yeah, you started
like I
liking
finally
it.
like kind of understood it. You know, once I kind of understood why people were yelling and screaming
Mm-hmm.
about how much they hated everything, I'm like, I can vibe with this. Like I get this, you know. Like so once I figured that part out, I'm like, okay, game on. And it's been since then. That's about all I've listened to, and my stuff has only gotten like heavier since then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But local scene wise, actually, it's kind of funny how I got into the local scene. I didn't know it at the time, but my buddy Aaron was in a local band, actually a couple different local bands. He was in a band called Free Reign. And then, was it Apparatus? No. It was.
That's my band.
No, it was, actually, do you know Aaron Sawicki?
I know the name. I don't think I've ever met him
He was
personally.
he was in Reformer. He
Okay, I
was
remember
their-
Reformer because
he was in the band before they became Reformer. Like he left as soon as like they changed the name.
Okay,
It wasn't Apparatus. It was
Reform. What were they before Reformer? It
Yeah,
was,
see, like, I'm just like-
Oh fuck! I know this dude because
Yeah,
I
right,
played
I'm
with
like-
them one show, and they were something, and
Yeah.
then the next show we played with them, and they
it
were
was
a
the
different
Reformer.
name.
Yeah,
I can't remember what the name is. Sorry, Reformer.
we're gonna find this out right now.
Yeah, let's just
We're-
actually
we're
while you
gonna-
look that up, I'm gonna grab my water because I'm stupid. I forgot my water. I'm the worst.
So I just texted him. I said, "Who was the band before Reformer?" So we'll see. You might have to like cut that part out, but yeah,
Yeah, no, that's completely, no, it's staying.
it's all stays.
It's
and
comedic
all, yeah.
purpose.
So anyways, I met him in college. Went to Brockport, State University of Brockport. Met him there,
Mm-hmm.
and through him, I met Jake Regroot and Ryan Worth
From Aphasia.
from Aphasia. And again, that's for a whole nother talk.
Oh, yeah.
The whole
We'll get to
Aphasia.
that later.
That's yeah. Anyway, so I met them. I got tickets to their show with While She Sleeps and Asking Alexandria,
Oh yeah,
the British Invasion tour that they did.
I remember that.
It was originally supposed to be at Water Street. I think it was that one. It was supposed to be at Water Street,
Okay.
but Water Street shut down.
Oh, it was during that.
It was a Sage Keeper show. It was a tech show,
Okay.
Entertainment Collective show, and shout out to Sage.
Yeah, no, Sage is great.
Right?
Throwback.
And so that got shut down. So he worked his ass off. Like, I think they got like the word of it like the night before, and he got like it rescheduled. I think at like noon, like the day of. So it was at the
Really?
basement of the Armory. They put Asking Alexandria and While She Sleeps, and they had the local
Oh
fest.
yeah, no,
yeah,
I remember that.
yeah, and then the local fest was up top.
Yeah, they were bouncing. Like
Yeah.
people would be down here, and then you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
allowed
yeah.
to go upstairs and see the local perform in like that
Exactly,
cool little
yeah.
like open ballroom.
Yeah, I
Dude,
still have videos of it somewhere. But yeah, it was.
that was a good show. I
yeah.
remember that. That was
Because that
fun.
had Sleep Monroe on it, Into the Harbor, Vanity
Yeah.
Strikes, who I heard a lot of shit that went down with
Yeah,
that.
it was-
Apparently they ended up getting kicked out, I think, or something.
Really?
I think somebody got a little too drunk
Oh, no.
and started fighting with security. I think.
Come on, guys.
Opposed to silence.
Oh yes.
Opposed
yes.
to silence.
Opposed
Okay,
to
there we go.
silence.
Thank you, Aaron.
Shout out to Aaron for coming in with that. Yeah, no, I remember that show because that was Apparatus after I left because
Yeah, because that was Joey or what's his name? Jackson. One of the Jackson brothers.
it
in
was
the truck.
actually both of them. They
Was
both
both of them?
were in
Okay.
there. Chris was the guitarist and Justin was doing lead vocals. I can't remember who did drums for them. I think it was Jerry Clyde before he moved to
Jared
Revenant.
Clyde.
I think so because I
I think
remember
so, yeah.
when we were reworking that, Jared was playing drums with us for a little bit for that band,
Hmm.
and then I ended up leaving, and then Chris and Justin, I think Jared stayed, and they started reworking and tried rewriting or just working on new stuff, and that just ended up not going anywhere. So rest in peace, Apparatus.
Yeah, pretty much.
We had one cool show, and that was it.
Actually, I think I've seen bands do that. Like they literally like form for like one show, and then after that, like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. Like it was cool, but yeah. But yeah, so yeah, Into the Harbor was on that. So that was kind of like my first like introduction to them as well. But yeah, so that's how I kind of got into. Actually, it was funny. Sage sent me a link on Facebook to the show, like doing his job. I didn't know who the hell he was. I thought he was just some random guy like messaging me. I'm like,
who is this man?
I'm just like, all right. And then come to find out, I'm like, you're the guy who booked the show. I'm like, oh. So yeah, so that was kind of cool. So then. Another fun fact, Into the Harbor, Todd, I'm sure he's going to hate me for saying this, but whatever. Him and I both have the same ex-girlfriend. So that's how I met Into the Harbor was, because I started dating, they were long, like separated and everything like that, but I think it was like 2 or 3
Small
years
world.
between. Like, yeah, it was like, I'm like, oh, all right, that's
happens.
cool. So
stuff like that happens.
Yeah, so... Yeah, so we both have the same ex-girlfriends. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But yeah, so that's how I met Into the Harbor. But yeah, then after that, it's just kind of been going from there, and I've just kind of, not so much unfortunate, I've just literally gone to every show that I can, like in Rochester and Buffalo. I've drove out to Syracuse for local shows. I drove Karma.
Oh,
excuse me.
Karma.
Yeah.
Wasn't Chris in that as well? Or not Chris, Justin.
Justin, yeah. Justin was in that
one of the Jackson brothers.
One of them, yeah. I drove them out to Albany to play with Traders and Signs of the Swarm.
That's dope.
That was the most legit thing I've ever been to. That show was insane. Like,
what venue was it at?
It was this place called Jupiter Hall. And
I've seen that name before.
It was in a shopping mall.
Really?
Yeah, like you go into Marketplace Mall and there'd be like a venue there, but like it was in Albany. It was a really cool place.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm like this. I'm like this shouldn't be here. This should be like outside somewhere. I'm like this is insane.
What's that called? You said
Jupiter Hall.
Oh no.
Yeah, out in Albany.
I want to write that down just so.
I'm not sure if it's a thing anymore because I think the girl that was running it like stopped.
I'll definitely have to look into that.
Yeah, it was
Albany.
Yeah, it's out in Albany. Yeah,
I'm saving that.
But like it was just kind of like this mini like barricaded area where you could like stand behind, and there's like the floor like pit area, and once you got into the pit, there's like these just smoke guns that shot down at you. Like during the show, it was insane. Like,
That's
it was
dope.
Awesome.
So wait, was it so when you walked into the mall, was it staged on like the first floor and then the second floor had
No. It was pretty much you walk down through the mall or whatever, and then it's kind of in like a separate section. Like you go through a door and you go down a little hallway, and then it's there.
That's such a weird place
it's so weird. I'm like, all right, we literally actually the load in was laying like the back of the mall. Like there was no like actual like load in spot.
That's so interesting.
We drove by it once, and then I just happened to see a guy in a Die Hard is Murder shirt, and I'm like, that's got to be it. I'm like, there's no one walking around in a Die Hard is Murder shirt that is, that's going to the show. I'm like, yeah. So we ended up finding, I'm like, is this the load? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. So, and I actually ended up booking their band to come play one of my shows in Rochester. So that was kind of cool. So it's all who you know. It's so weird. Like,
networking's so fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
So been going to concerts now for 7 years, 8 years, somewhere in there. Been going to local shows probably for closer to 5 years now.
Nice.
And it seems like a lot longer.
Who was one of your favorite bands to see live, like when you first got into music?
R.I.P. Reps. Reps, for sure. Colin and the guys, those dudes are insane. To see them play live was always fun. Awesome. People went flying at their shows. I actually have a picture. Adam Schwab, he was a photographer.
Yeah.
He has a picture of Casey Diaz jumping off of Anthology when they played Into Me, and now you just see my face. I'm just like, oh god, and it's like just jumping into me. I'm like, That is my favorite photo ever.
That's so awesome.
I might actually go and get that printed out just so I have just it on my wall.
Oh yeah, you
just
gotta
like,
keep it.
yeah,
It's
oh
a
yeah.
souvenir. It's like, look at this time. Look
Exactly.
at my
Like,
face. It's
look at that.
perfect.
I almost died at this show. Look at this. But no, reps was always fun to play. I also didn't like. I honestly don't remember the first time I got into a mosh pit, but once I started doing it, I'm like, I really enjoy this.
Dude, moshing is so
yeah,
cool.
oh yeah. I don't do the hardcore dancing. I physically can't because
It
I would
hurts.
fall
Don't
over.
try it.
I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, no. Like I'll like pretend like swing arms. Like if you've ever seen me at a show, you've probably seen me like just like kind of walk through like swinging
pretending.
arms. Like yeah, or I do it to like the softest band.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
think
my
I've-
favorite thing to do. It's like a heavy show, and then like an opener that's like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like alternative music. I'll start throwing down for them.
I felt really bad. I saw a show like that. It was Secrets at Montage. One of the bands on that bill, I felt so bad. They were so out of place, and like their song ended and no one clapped. And they're just like they waited like 10 seconds.
Oh,
They're
that's
like,
awful.
thanks guys, and everyone's like, oh,
Oh no.
and then they start. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like,
I like multi-genre shows, but at the same time, it's like
they
it's
did.
so
Unfortunately,
awkward.
their genre it didn't fit Secrets. Like I'm like, oh, that was a weird one, anyways, too, because it was Secrets, and then it was like 6 local bands. So it was like a 7-band bill, and I'm like, dear God, I'm like, and doors still open at 6. I'm like, this show's gonna be on for forever.
What time did it end? Like 2?
I think so. No, I think I mean, they were moving through bands pretty quick, but
Oh,
I think
okay.
it got over at like midnight.
All right. As long
But
as
still,
it's
I'm
so-
like, dear God, I'm like, wow.
yeah, no, that's crazy.
that was a long show. But yeah, so that's kind of my journey into the what we call the 585 music scene, and it's just kind of gone from there. After that, once I started meeting people, I just kind of decided, I'm like, let me see if I can put shows on,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
was
kind of
about to
where
say,
I ended
when-
up. Yeah.
What I was going to say, what was the step into promoting? Because you have Just Breathe Entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah, follow Just Breathe Entertainment we're on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm just really bad at it.
I have some of your cards. Still,
I'm
by
a
the way.
promoter, and I am terrible at promoting. Like
I wouldn't say terrible. You just don't do it as often.
exactly, I'm definitely not there with Jerry. Like I'm definitely not Jerry Motion style
Jerry is my
promotion.
favorite.
Like I'm like wow, I'm definitely not there yet in terms of promotion. But like yeah. But yeah, no, so I kind of, eventually I'm just like, okay, I can't sing. I can't play any instrument to save my life. I really enjoy music. I really don't like working for people.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I don't know. I just don't like having people tell me what to do, but that's something else. But no,
No,
so I
I'm
just
the
kind of
same
got
way.
thinking about it, and like I got to talking to Sage about it and a couple other promoters. I'm like, what's it like? And literally all of them looked at me and said, don't do it. They said
I've
it
heard
will
that.
ruin your life. I'm like, I'm in.
Right, let's
I'm
do
like,
it. Let's
all
go.
right.
Sign me up.
I think actually I told Sage this. I'm like, you know what, dude? I already hate my life, so screw it. Let's do it. I'm like, so yeah. So of course then I'm figuring out. I'm like, all right, let me get my first show going. It was a four band show. I'm like, screw it. That's a good way to get in, get out. You know,
Right.
4 bands, whatever.
Where'd you have that set up at?
That one was in Brockport, and I was going to say, okay, we're going to take this place over. We're going to make this a new, like, not so much destination spot, but we're going to make it another market to, like, put bands.
Yeah, I was about to say I've never heard of a venue
Yeah,
in
it
Brockport.
was a place. It was an Elks Lodge.
Oh, that's kind of
Like,
cool.
Yeah, so and it
something
was
small.
like they had like wrestling shows there, so it's a big spot.
Really?
I guess way back, like 7 or 8 years ago, John Murch was telling me he played there one time. He said Sirens played there one time.
That's kind of cool.
I forget who told me that, but it might have been John. I forget. But yeah, I guess Sirens played there at one point. I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, they've done metal shows before.
Right? Why can't I?
Yeah. So, and it was funny when I was talking to them, like, yeah, how long you think you're going to be there? I'm like, we'll probably be done at like 11 o'clock. And they're just like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, we'll be over early. He goes, okay. Because apparently they're used to going to like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But I'm
really?
like, dude, no.
Nah,
I'm
we
like,
start
no.
early, we end on
Yeah,
time.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, there's 4 bands and literally like 6 people are going to show up. So yeah.
yeah, no.
And I was right. 6 people showed up. No, not really. But no, that was good. It was Kodiak. R.I.P. Kodiak. They were fun.
Oh, I remember that banner too.
Actually, trying to think. Actually, yeah, Kodiak no longer plays. Plagues of Endeavor is gone.
Is Plague's gone?
Kinda, yeah.
I was about to say.
Like it's kind of pretty much over.
I've seen. I thought I saw them on a show. I don't. Maybe I'm thinking of an older show. Maybe it was like a memory or something.
Yeah, but yeah, it was. And then Inertia. Out of Buffalo.
Nice. And Inertia's tight, dude.
If you need a band to just lose your mind to, listen to Inertia.
Inertia. Huge shout out to Inertia.
Khalil, I don't know what that man did. He made a sacrifice to the metal gods. I don't know what he did, but that man can play a guitar like it's nobody's business. I'm like, dear God, man. And then I found out he's a private instructor. Like, he teaches guitar.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, that
that's
is
really
insane.
Cool.
I'm
sign
like,
up.
okay.
Go sign up.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Teach yourself guitar.
I'm like,
learn
no.
guitar.
I'm like, dude, I don't have the money to get into that. Like, I don't have the money for music. I'm like,
yeah, dude, music's expensive.
seriously though.
There's so much stuff that goes into it that people don't see. People are just like, oh, you know, they just write music and record
it's like,
it. That's
no,
so cool.
no,
there's
God,
so
no.
much
Oh, yeah.
more.
Oh yeah.
Way more behind the scenes work. Than
And that's kind of what it was too, because I'm just like, this is kind of the cheaper side of it, like
right, promoting 100%.
But yeah, so yeah, it was Plagues of Endeavor, Kodiak, Inertia, and then Transcendence.
Which one, New York or?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, the New York one. Yeah. So it was those four bands. I'm like, sure, let's do it, and it was actually a halfway decent turnout. That was a fun one. That was a good show. So that was my first one, and of course, take a wild guess at the date that they gave me that I could do it.
420.
Yep.
I knew it.
We were shooting for mid-April, and they go, well, we got one on 420. I'm
Hell
like,
yeah,
I'm just
we'll
like,
take it.
fuck. I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'm like, whatever. So instead of just being like stereotypical, I called it a not another 420 fest. Or I call it like not another 420 show, and I'm like, let's do it. I'm like, screw it. So we went for it, and that was unfortunately, I think I lost friendships out of that show because I was stressing over like everything. My girlfriend at the time, I think she hated me, like, because it was all I was talking about. Because I just wanted everything to go good,
Right.
and
it's
I
a
was,
very stressful situation.
yeah, and I just started, and I think she hated me after that. But I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, all right.
I think promoting is like so cool, but at the same time, it's like the most stressful thing.
It is
you're
definitely
the
kinda
biggest
stressful,
middleman.
yeah.
You're the middleman. That's what you are. It's like you talk to the bands, you talk to the venue. It's just you in between. It's like, fuck.
It's also the weirdest thing to try and explain to people. What do you do precisely? I'm like, well, pretty much what I do is I talk to said bands. I go, hey, I'm having a show at this date at this place. Do you want to play? And they're like, okay. And then we do it.
Right,
like,
exactly.
if they say yes, then they're on. If they say no, then we move on. And so they're like, okay. I'm like, you're still not getting it, but whatever, that's fine. So it's always kind of weird to explain it, but yeah. So then after that, just kind of kept going. We had. This year was going to be a huge year for us. I'm not going to lie. So then I eventually brought on Kyle Radke from Into the Harbor.
Oh, awesome.
He's kind of like more of like the behind the scenes a little bit. And then it's me and him that do it, that do Just Breathe. And we had shows lined up for this year, 2020. We had shows lined up for May, June, and April. We had one a month, and it was going to be huge. Like, we had another Inertia show signed up. We had the one I was personally looking forward to was the one. It was going to be at Bug Jar, May 8th, and I printed out all like my shows that I've done, and I put them up on my wall. And this one only because I absolutely love the poster. My guy Joe Grimm did for me.
Joe Grimm, doesn't he have his he does like
he's with Jaybird right now.
He does
design
cool
work for them.
designs,
Yeah,
right?
really cool. If you need a graphic designer, look up Joe Grimm. He knows what he's doing. But he made this like, because I wanted it because the headliner was County Kings from 315, and they're a hardcore band. I said I kind of want it like Old West, like Shootout, like OK Corral, like Shootout the OK Corral. That's kind of how I was building it. Like, it was like a hardcore like throwdown type thing, and that's what he gave me. And it was the coolest freaking poster, and I couldn't use it because the show got canceled because of freaking COVID. And I'm like, come on!
I know, right? COVID.
It was, seriously. It was County Kings, Wasted Space, Of Night and Light, and Spit Nickels.
Spit Nickels
They're
played
out
with Transcendence
Yeah.
before, right? At the Bug Jar? Yeah.
I think, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was seriously pumped for that show because I'm like, dude, this is going to be awesome. And then it didn't happen. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you doing during COVID? Are you waiting to see what happens? Are you
Yeah, pretty much.
playing
I'm
it by ear?
The only thing I really have planned right now that I want to do is another show in December like we did last year. That was kind of the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you kind of wanted to get into it a little bit, but this was, you mentioned it kind of off, I'd say off camera, but we're not on camera. But yeah, kind of.
Not yet.
Yeah, right.
Those people
Yeah.
want that. I'm still waiting, still playing
Right,
that
right.
by ear.
Right. But yeah, we're talking about off, before we started doing this, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of that was my worst experience show. That was the one I'm just like, really. I'm not gonna give away too much, but pretty
Yeah, yeah.
much the show,
Whatever
the,
you're
the
comfortable
sound guy was late, an hour late. So we ended up moving. Pretty much the set times were moved back a band. Like so, pretty much our first band I think was supposed to go on. If I remember, I think it was like at like 7 o'clock or something like that, and they were gonna do like 35-minute sets. They didn't go on to like 8. We had like Into the Harbor headlined it. It was our holiday metal, what do we call it? Metal holiday, pretty much, but it was a fundraiser for Ronald McDonald House, and we did. I thought we did halfway decent. We took a shitload of toys over to the Ronald McDonald House, so it was a really cool
awesome.
event. But it was just such a shit show. Like I said, sound guy actually it wasn't even the sound guy was late. They didn't have a sound guy, so they had to find one
Are you joking?
day of the show, and they have to find a sound guy.
That's oh
And
my gosh.
the guy was at like his kid's like soccer game or not soccer game, like he was at like his kid's like game or something like that. And so it finally gets there. Yeah, like I said, I think we finally started playing at like 8, like an hour and a half late. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? So that's number one. Then number
Jeez.
2, they told me I'd be in charge. We'd be checking IDs, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, cool. That didn't happen. Their people ended up not even saying anything, just kind of took over and started doing it. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Then all their old regulars showed up, and they wouldn't let me, like, they didn't have them pay to get into the show because, well, we're not here for the show. We're here to drink. I'm like, I don't
Well, there's
fucking
a show
care. I'm
going
like,
on.
yeah, there's
Pay
a
for a
show
ticket.
going on. Yeah. It's $10.
Right,
Like,
$10 at the door.
yeah. It's not going to set you back any because you're going to spend about $100 at this bar. I can tell already.
Right, exactly.
But so that
Smell
was
you
that.
walking in the door.
So then we had this freaking crazy lady show up. Don't know who she was. I don't know if she was drunk or high. I don't know, but
Both.
wouldn't get her out. She was making everybody very uncomfortable.
And they wouldn't kick her
They
out.
wouldn't know.
Was she a regular?
I must have been.
the
And
fuck, guys?
the person in charge of the venue wants to be buddy with everybody, and I'm like, no.
No.
And so then after that, it was. Then they started playing the freaking jukebox. While bands are on stage playing, they have the jukebox going.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
are
I'm
you
like,
guys
are you
doing?
serious right now? So eventually, I'm just like, are you kidding me? I go up to her, I'm like, you have the jukebox going. We have bands playing right now. Can we get this turned off?
Right.
And she just goes, yeah, no problem. I'm like, seriously? So I'm just like, well, that
That's
was
your-
cool. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the worst. I won't say the worst one so far because I'm sure I'm gonna have even worse shows,
Oh,
but like, yeah. 'Cause
Hopefully not.
I haven't even gotten into like national acts
No,
yet, like,
not
and I
yet.
want to, but like, I haven't even gotten to national acts yet. And like talking to like Randy who owns the montage and like talking to stage and like stuff like that, they don't like dealing with national bands.
I bet.
like-
I bet you there's a bunch of pain in the ass. A
Oh
lot
yeah,
of.
I'm sure. Especially there was one. Actually, it was funny. There was one in the montage. I know I'm rambling on like it's nobody's business right
Nah,
now,
dude,
but
I love it. Keep going. I am
there
enjoying
was
this.
I forget what they called themselves, but it was a bunch of like old guitarists and stuff like this from other bands that started a new band, and so they're kind of like a super group
Okay,
type
yeah.
thing. And you know how you can always tell the people that actually want to be at the shows and the people who only show up for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy there, never seen him at a show before, like ever.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up with a freaking recorder and a mic just so he can get the headliners to say, hey, this is our radio station, just so he could get the line. I'm like, dude, you just paid $35 and this is the only show you're ever going to be at, and then you're going to go on your radio show and talk about how much you love this whole show. Be like, dude, you don't even know.
Dude, I
Like-
hate stuff like that. Who,
Yeah,
who
it's-
say that they love something,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh,
it's-
this was fantastic. I had so much fun, but
Yeah.
it's like, bro, you were there for 2 seconds and
Exactly.
left.
I'm like, it was one of those. And I shouldn't judge people, but I'm just like, I've never seen you at a show before. It's like, come on, dude. Like, but I'm sure he would go on there and say, oh, dude, I went to all these shows. I'm like, no, the only reason you showed up was to promote your radio show. It's the only reason why you were there. But I digress. So it's kind of weird because, like, now, like, when I go to shows, it's kind of become twofold. I'm there, obviously, for the music. I'm there to actually enjoy going to a concert because it's my only form of release.
Right.
And now I'm there also to kind of do a little bit of, like, network building. Like, I'm
Right.
talking to people, So now it's kind of become twofold for me. So it's almost kind of become a job sometimes, But, because, promoting
still
it's
enjoy
not
it?
a real job. Like, it's not a physically, like, demanding job, obviously, but it's a very mentally challenging job.
Do you at least enjoy it still?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So once like I said, the only thing I want to do this year is try and get another fundraiser type show like we did last year. Because I kind of want to build that as like a yearly like festival type thing.
I was about to say, would you ever want to do like one of those big like 3-day festival things or something like that? Or like a
If it
outdoor
ever
fe-
got that big, yeah. I mean, yeah,
That'd
if
be
it got
awesome.
that big, I would be in a,
I would love
Yeah.
to see that. If you ever got that big, dude,
right.
I'd
Oh, yeah,
totally
dude.
help out. Just message me. I'd be like, dude, I'll help you. Let me know what you
Right.
need.
Be like, hey, you remember what you said on your podcast like 10 years ago?
Yeah, dude, I have it written here. It's a signed contract.
Yeah,
you're in.
right. By the way, I'm in California. I need you here tomorrow. Cool?
On the way. Pay
Right.
for half my ticket.
But yeah, no, it's kind of, I've just kind of, I had plans, let me put it that way, for what I wanted to do, but I would say, that's gotten shelved, so we'll see. If it turns into like a live stream event type thing, then that's what we'll do. But
That'd be cool. I'd still like
know,
to see that. That'd be cool to
still
see the bands
something,
play, right?
yeah, because like I know Springer, who was Jed Seaver, he's the guy for that. They did that, and they raised like a shitload of money.
Oh, that's good for
Yeah,
him. That's
so-
awesome. That'd be another cool person to have on here. I'd love to talk to Jed. Dude, he's been in the scene for so long, and I was doing those festivals now. I love it. The
Right.
United
Oh, yeah.
Artistry or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
just him?
It's
or does he have,
him?
like, a crew?
Like, yeah, I think he has like kind of like a mini like team that,
Oh, awesome.
that does
Okay.
it. But he's definitely in charge of it. Like, I think he does a lot of like these are the bands playing.
Okay.
Like type. I think he kind of organizes a lot of it. But like once it's like actual like show day, it's kind of like a whole team of people
That's
that
awesome.
does it.
That's
But,
really cool.
yeah, no, United Artists, that's a really cool one too. So big ups to Jed on that one too for sure.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I gotta get him on. But
right.
yeah, no, dude, I could imagine just breathe.
Here we
doing
are. We
that.
have me on. Be like, oh, dude. Be like, oh wait, you're a cool guest, but I gotta get this guy.
No, I'm just saying in general. Like, dude, that'd be really cool. And I don't know if I could do that, but yeah, no, man, that'd be awesome to see Just Breathe like that. Now, actually, where did you come up with that name? Like, how did that name come to you? I mean, that was a question I had for you.
Well, it's kind of funny. A friend of mine kind of made it so it's almost like a real answer. And I'm going to tell you that, but then I'm going to tell you the real reason. But she says, well, it's kind of cool because it's like in music, that's what you need to do. You need to breathe. And, obviously, it's how you stay alive, obviously. I
Right,
get
just
that.
breathe.
Like, exactly. You have to just breathe. Exactly. And that's kind of what she was saying. Like, in music, you have to learn how to breathe the right way, But the real reason is because I really love A Day to Remember.
Mm-hmm.
And in the song, I Made a Wax, Larry, what are you made of? The part of the breakdown is literally just breathe. And I'm like, that's fucking epic. And
I like
I kind of stole that. And I'm
That's
like,
one of my favorite songs by them, too. I've seen them like 4 times before COVID happened.
yeah,
Oh,
and I'm just
so
like, you know what?
excited.
That sounds really cool. I'm like, Just Breathe Entertainment. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going with it. So I'm like, so that's the real reason is I really love A Day to Remember.
See, I'm so thankful for my girlfriend because she actually got me into A Day to Remember. Like, I've heard of the name. I
Yeah.
never actually sat down and listened to it.
Right.
And then I started dating my girlfriend, and she was big into A Day to Remember. So I started listening to it. I'm like, this shit slaps. dude.
Right,
Like,
sure, yeah,
I
I was like,
love
alright,
this.
alright.
And then I saw them 4 times, like in the same year. It's like, they are fantastic.
I got to meet him.
Did you really?
Yeah, Bonsai Fest 2014. They played at Salem Stadium
I
in
remember
Rochester.
Bonsai.
Yeah.
Is Bonsai still a thing or no?
No, I don't think so because they closed down Salem Stadium. There's no longer a soccer team.
Oh, yeah,
so.
true.
But as far as I could tell, I don't think either A Day to Remember or Chevelle. I don't think Chevelle was supposed to be there because it was kind of like I think somebody had to cancel, so they had to find somebody else to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Chevelle that ended up coming in.
This sounds familiar. I
But
remember
it was
Chevelle
it
playing
was
Bonsai.
yeah. But it was kind of cool because so there's 2 tables set up at Bonsai. It was one was you pay this, we'll put your ticket in there for a chance to meet a day to remember. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Why not?
Why not?
2 tables down, you buy their CD, and it's a guaranteed you can go meet them. I couldn't get my money out fast enough.
Right, exactly.
I had already bought the CD, but I'm like, screw it.
Right.
I'm like, I get to meet a day to remember. I'm like, here's $20. I'm like, yes. Like,
yeah.
and like I asked the guy, I says like guaranteed, like we're in line, like we get to meet him. He goes, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Here you go.
I'm like, there you go. So that was cool. A lot shorter than I thought they were going to be.
Oh, you want to know who was super short in person? I met Phil Bozeman from Whitechapel.
Dude, there's nothing to him.
Dude,
He's like 5'3",
yeah,
5'4".
dude, he's
Like,
shorter than me. I walked up to him because I went to I think it was Mayhem Fest before Mayhem Fest disappeared, and I went to West Virginia to go see them. But it was like Slayer. There was who the fuck was there? Whitechapel, Sworn In. I saw what the fuck are your names? I am blanking. Reign of Darkness. Who sings Reign of Darkness? Is fucking.
Thyre's Murder.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Nah, you're good,
Yeah,
man. I was
Thyre's
just
Murder.
blanking.
Yeah.
But no, I got to meet them, and actually, speaking of that, I smoked with them. It was so
That's
lit,
awesome.
dude. Nobody was at their tent, and they were all there.
Yeah.
And I bought their Hate CD, and they all signed it, and then I smoked with them. And I was like, this is
Screw it, man.
fantastic. They just made my whole day. What's up, guys? I just
That's
smoked
awesome.
fucking Thyre Murder.
That's awesome.
Dude, best day ever. And I went back to my dad. He's like, are you high? I'm like, no.
No.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right. I never went to Mayhem.
Really?
I missed Mayhem because I was the Warped Tour kid. I went to Warped Tour from 2014 on to obviously the last year of it. Because I wasn't into that kind of stuff yet. I wasn't into the
either.
Mayhem style bands.
Okay.
I was still, like I said, I was still a country boy. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was, when Mayhem was like huge, I didn't know who Blink-182 was. I didn't know who exactly. Like
Right.
I didn't know. I'm like, so like I said, my music is very weird. Like just
Dude, it's
the
all
stuff
over the
I,
place.
yeah, like it's funny. I say this all the time, but I can literally go from Motionless in White to Jason Aldean to Whitechapel to Body Snatcher, who I was listening to on the way in here.
Hell
Like,
yeah, dude.
I'm
Body
like-
Snatcher's new album was dope, by
Seriously,
the
though,
way.
I'm
It
like-
was so
I'm like-
sick.
I'm like, how is it? I'm okay with going from Body Snatcher to Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash. Like, why is this a thing?
That's how I am, too, because my mom was a country
Yeah.
person, and I would grow up listening to, like, Toby Keith. So I'm singing Toby Keith in the back of the car, but my dad was a metalhead, and listening to, like, Slipknot, Nine Inch Nails, and, like, Slayer.
Yeah.
And I went from that to Toby Keith and, like, the Backstreet Boys over here.
Yes!
So, like, I'm in the middle here.
Backstreet Boy. I was a Backstreet Boys kid. I was, not afraid to admit that.
Another one is Beastie Boys. I was
Boys,
definitely a big Beastie Boys person because both
Yep.
my parents listened to it. That was
Right,
like the
there
one
you
thing
go.
they both listened to. So I'm listening to like Shadrach in the car, just like jamming out to Brass Monkey and stuff. I loved it.
My dad was there. My mom, country all the way. I'll give her credit. She tries to listen to my stuff, hates it.
That's how my
I've-
mom is.
I've gotten her into Breaking Benjamin and a little bit of A Day to Remember. Like that kind of stuff she can do. Then there's my dad. He doesn't listen to like real heavy stuff, but like also like the old school like 80s bands. Like
Yep,
is my dad.
that's
like
pretty. I could see that. Yeah, my
Yeah.
dad's like that too.
like Garbage, Patsy Climb my ass. Yep, there it goes, and it's gone.
yeah,
Yep,
oh.
yep, it's gone.
can't
But
even
yeah, no,
help,
just
I'm
like all
sorry.
that kind of stuff, like just like the stuff from the '80s, like Europe, Survivor, like
Oh, he listened to like hair metal.
exactly, yeah, like he was
Or
like the
not
hair metal guy,
Yeah,
like
I think that's
yeah,
hair metal.
like the Twisted Sisters,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
shit like that, Genesis, like that was him, So how I listen to now Whitechapel and Slaughter to Prevail, no idea.
It just kind of
It
happens.
just and
I love it because it's like my genres change all the time. Like I could go listening to like acoustic music or like something pretty to listening to like new Make Them Suffer, and then I could listen to like rap and then like be working out to that, and then like 20 minutes later I'm like singing YMCA. Like I don't know why. She's like all of a sudden fucking hits
that's
me, dude.
amazing. You're just like screw it, man.
Dude, Katy Perry at the gym? Are you joking? That's like my guilty pleasure, dude. Get all your fucking heavyweights lifted.
Yeah, right. I found out I can't necessarily listen to heavy music while I'm at the gym because the one time I had Slipknot going, and I remember I just threw down the weights as hard as I could. I was like, ah! And my buddy who was working out with me, he just looked at me. I'm like,
Sorry.
shit. I'm like, sorry. I'm like, all right, no more Slipknot at the gym, because I think it was actually it might have been People Equal Shit.
Dude, like, best song ever for working out. That or like Heretic
Like,
Anthem,
yeah,
dude.
or it might have been Heretic Anthem. Yeah. But
Have you ever seen Slipknot live?
yes and no. So I went their last tour they came through at Darien Lake. It was Volbeat, Behemoth, and Gojira, and Slipknot.
I remember that.
I actually have a video with Cole from White Tides. He jumped on my back and we ran through the mosh pit during Volbeat and like just were swinging through. And that was a fun.
Dude,
But anyway,
Volbeat's awesome. They got like
dude,
warrior music.
Oh yeah, dude, I love
It's so
Volbeat.
cool.
So damn good. They definitely were like the odd man out on that tour because like. If you don't know, Gojira literally has a song called Flying Whales. Mm-hmm. They're from France, so it makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Behemoth, who is...
I've seen Behemoth, I think, 3 times. They're interesting.
Anti-religion.
Yeah.
They've been banned from a lot of places. And then, obviously, Slipknot from Iowa. Because of course, and then
It's Slipknot.
Exactly.
Slipknot's
and
on any big show, any tour they want.
Yeah,
They're just
like
like, here,
pretty
take
much,
my
yeah,
money.
Dude, well, they were going to tour with A Day to Remember this year. It was supposed to be Slipknot, A Day to Remember, and I think Code Orange.
Yes, dude.
I think,
I
it was
so
those three, and I'm
excited
like,
for it.
all right.
I would love to see Code Orange live, especially with the new shit too.
I've never really listened to them.
They're not
I know
bad.
everyone's just like, oh my god, Code Orange. I'm like,
If you ever get a chance, it's
Oh
kind
my
of like
they're kind of like this new style of like new metal meets beatdown.
yeah, it's like it's
Like-
like industrial sounding.
Yeah.
It's very machine sounding. I love
Yeah.
it. It's pretty dope. It's good for workouts. That's my favorite. I have to listen to like real heavy shit at workouts because if not, it's like I can't.
Actually, it's funny. Guy I work with, it's funny because he's a gym bro. He is just like, that's all he does. He lifts weights and he goes to work. That's all he does. And he drinks White Claw. Like he is like he's like every white boy ever. Like if you need a picture of a white boy, this guy I work with. But anyways, he was telling me about his heavy playlist, and I put that in quotations that he listens to. First song on there, Down with the Sickness.
Solid.
Like that kind of
Solid.
like
Okay.
that's his like heavy
So some
stuff.
butt
And
rock.
I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie though.
I listen
Down
to
with
it
the
too.
Sickness, like it's a good song.
Yeah,
Like
no,
it gets you
I
going.
respect
I'm
Disturbed.
like, yeah, dude, I love Disturbed. And
They're
like,
one of the greats, man.
And David Draymond pretty much says "fuck you." Like
Yeah.
if you don't like us, that sucks.
yeah,
Like,
still gonna do it.
like
Fuck
yeah,
you guys.
like again another random tangent,
No,
but
you're good, man.
Black Veil Brides, Andy Black or Andy Biersack, whatever you want to call him. The best thing I can like for the people who like shit on certain things or whatever, because it's apparently a favorite thing to do. Internet trolls, if
Yeah,
you
no,
will.
just shitting on people just doing what they like.
Yeah.
Like fuck off. Like let us
Pretty much,
let us live,
like,
man.
yeah.
Screw you. Just
The best thing I could think of was it was literally during a show, and he literally said, "Look, you're in your mother's basement typing on a keyboard right now, and I'm playing on stage making money.
right. Fuck you, man.
So who's doing better right now?"
You probably bought my
Like-
merch last week.
yeah, right. Like, yeah. I'm like, and like, I'm not gonna lie. Like Black Veil Brides, I'm like, all right, they're a little like, but then I got thinking about it. They're just kind of like a new Twisted Sister. They're kind of like a new,
Yeah,
just
no,
like,
it's just,
yeah. But then like you listen to them, their like musicianship is insane.
Yeah, they're honestly
Like-
people hate on that. It's not my cup of tea, but I can't shit on them. They're doing
They're good,
great.
look.
They got a great fan base. It's their own thing.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Andy Biersack, his solo project is really damn good.
Really?
Like
I
Andy
haven't
Black,
gotten
like
into it.
look up Andy Black. That's kind of like
I'm gonna
his
write that down too.
his new like persona, if you will. But it's still
Okay.
like kind of like jazzy, like dance type music. But it's really good. I'm like, damn, okay. But it's just kind of funny, like the people who just like kind of shit on all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? They're making money, Whitechapel is sitting in places right now just banking off making like songs about serial killers. Like, what do you want? Like,
Where did that go?
uh
Uh oh.
oh, technical difficulty.
technical difficulties, right? Dude, my note just like disappeared on
uh-oh.
me. I had notes from like just talking like of the bands. I'm gonna have to get that back afterwards. I don't know where that went. It just
I don't know.
disappeared. It was open. I opened it back up, and
Right.
it wasn't that
It's gone.
document. I was like, okay, well that's cool. Well, also the cool part is we already did 50 minutes too.
Damn.
Yeah,
dude.
no, that was effort. I'm gonna have to get you back on. I
Yo.
have questions still that I
Let's
have to
do
find,
let's
too.
do this 2 parts.
Dude,
All right, so
we can do as many.
yeah,
as we
let's
want,
go. Let's do
man.
it. Fuck
Like,
it, dude. Like I can talk all. I haven't even
Hell
touched
yeah.
on going out to California yet.
Yeah, no,
what goes
dude,
inside?
I really want to get into this. You're good. I'm gonna have you on a lot.
like,
I
dude,
like this. How many
I have
parts?
so much shit. Like I could tell you, like
No, I actually really
because I have
enjoyed
such a
this.
weird, just kind of. This is gonna sound really egotistical, but I have just kind of like a weird view on music.
Yeah,
Like
I would
I
love to say.
absolutely, and I think it's because now, granted, I have a friend of mine who she's even more diverse than I am. She listens to the musical. She loves like Disney music, but then she can also listen to a Whitechapel and like the heavier stuff.
Yeah.
Like her favorite band is like Shinedown, like shit like that.
I love Shinedown too. Shinedown's
yeah, oh my
dope.
god, I have not seen them yet, and I kind of hate myself.
Neither
for
have
it.
I. Let's
I'm
go.
like-
we're going.
Yeah,
JT,
so,
we're gonna
like they
find
come
it.
through, we're going.
Yeah, 100%.
But so like even like her, she would have an even more like, you should have an even like different perspective on like stuff. But like I think it's because I do listen to different stuff, to where my views are a little bit different on music. I'm like I get it. And then like I have my buddy Jordan, he's in a pop punk band called Atticus Finch. I love those guys.
I
Really
tried
cool
to get
dudes.
them once because we were releasing an EP show, and I listened to them. I'm like, I fucking love these guys.
Dude, oh yeah, they're
I
amazing.
wanted them
Yeah.
to come. They just weren't able to do
Yeah,
any of the
they're-
days, and I was like, fuck, dude. You guys
I
are
want
so
actually I
good.
want to try and get them to play in December.
Oh,
I want
let
to see
us
if I
know.
can make that happen.
Let,
Like
let me
I,
know if you need a pop punk band for it, because
Yeah,
I would
but-
love to play that show since I'm not playing a show that date.
yeah, right. Like yeah, so I want to try and get them. But like Jordan, he's in that band. He listens. He's like, I don't want to give too much away, but like he's starting to work on like rap music.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He can do the heavy shit. Like we were in California, we were listening to Kill and Filth.
Oh,
Have you heard of those guys? Like, yeah,
I've
those
heard of
guys.
Filth.
I'm
Filth
like,
is
oh my
fantastic.
God,
dude.
I'm like, these guys are insane. Like, we were listening to those guys, and like, he spun around, like, then we were listening to like jazz music. So, like, he's also a sound guy. So I think that's kind of like
Right.
he's a front of house sound guy. He went on tour with Max Frost, who
Oh, that's cool.
he opened up for 21 Pilots.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's
So I'm like,
really
dude, you
cool.
went on tour with 21 Pilots. He goes, no, it was Matt. I'm like, no, dude.
No,
he
you were
opened for
there.
21 Pilots, so
were
you
there.
were on tour with 21 Pilots.
That's
like,
huge.
yeah,
That's
so like
really
he did
cool.
that, and like, so like he would even have like an even more like diverse like look on music. But I just think the more you listen to, like, the more you get it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna. I used to shit hard on rap music.
Oh, I did too.
was like,
I
I was
regret
so just like. I was raised in the country, so I had just kind of narrow-minded like
Mm-hmm.
views. And then it's amazing once you start like actually experiencing and like getting through stuff, and you're like, okay, you know what? I get it. Is it for me? No, but I get it.
Right.
You know, I still don't. I listen to a very select few, and like usually it's like the bigger stuff, like the Macklemore. I listen to him a little bit. I listen to Eminem because who hasn't?
Yeah. Who has
Like,
listened to
it's
that?
Eminem.
Really?
Like I can name off like probably 7 rap songs in total. Like I just found Hobson.
Hobson, yeah, he's on my
That dude
playlist.
is nuts.
If you like Hobson, you should definitely check out Token. First off, Token is a really cool dude. He's actually, I believe, don't quote me on this, I think he's like 20 years old, 21 years old.
Damn.
But he started rapping when he was like 16.
Right.
Dude, he's almost, I hate it because he literally says that he hates it. Everybody compares him to Eminem because that's the
okay.
type of flow
Right,
that
yeah.
he has.
Yeah.
But like, he hates being cold. The new Eminem.
Right,
He's
yeah,
like,
right.
nah,
He's
fuck
like,
that.
no,
That's
yeah.
not me. I'm starting something different.
Right.
Like,
Which,
it's
you know what? I'll
dope.
give you, yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like touring. He just put out a single, and it was on the new Scooby Doo movie. Like he wrote
Damn,
a
okay.
track for that, and he's like
Yeah,
20
yeah.
years old. Andrew and I like preach about Token. Token is
Yeah.
fucking insane, dude. Best. Like I love Token. If
Yeah.
you haven't checked it out, you would enjoy it.
I'll have to. Okay, yeah, but like I said, like it's stuff like I listen to just very like select amounts of like rap music, so like I really can't say too much about that. But it's like I have such a weird kind of view on music. I'm like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, whatever. Don't listen to it. Like, I never understood just the hating something just to hate it.
Right. It's stupid. Why?
Granted, I used to do it,
Right.
but now I'm just like, all right.
But you grew into that. Like,
Yeah.
you obviously you start somewhere and you're like, why am I doing this? And then all of a sudden you're just like, well, that was stupid of me. Like, I actually could see this point of view now. It's really cool
Right.
how it just grows.
Because like I remember, because at the time, like I said, it was still Papa Roach, it was still Breaking Benjamin, it was a select A Day to Remember songs, and it kind of went down a YouTube circle, and Immaculate Misconception by Motionless White came on, and the imagery in that video, the heaviness behind that song, the lyrics in that song, it is a very heavy song. Like when you look at it, if you haven't watched that one, definitely watch the full video for Immaculate Misconception.
Is that the one where he walks in and he gets spit on?
Yeah, that's one where it opens
think
up, the
that
guy
was-
spits
yeah.
on him. It has Dee Snider in it.
Yeah, I think that was in high school. That was one of the first music videos that I watched for
It
like
was
a heavy band.
he was on the cross. He ended
Yeah,
up on the
yeah.
cross with the black paint and everything. Yeah. So
I
it's a
remember
very heavy video.
Yeah.
It's very much so anti-religion, obviously.
Yeah, it's very
And
anti-religion.
I'm not so much that religion isn't for me, not to bring a lot of this into it, but I've always kind of questioned that type of stuff. I believe that there is an afterlife. I don't believe you rot in a box. I don't believe that. I believe there is an afterlife. And sometimes I even question that because I don't know. But so it's stuff like that, and it's but then like even certain people in my family are so hardcore, just like religion. I'm just like, oh my god.
Sometimes
like,
you just need a break. It's like
yeah,
I need an
and,
escape.
and then like I said, now I'm listening to a band called Slaughter to Prevail. I mean, like it's
So
like
good.
it's like I don't know why this is a thing, but it's a thing.
Alex Terrible is
yeah.
not terrible.
No, I'm like, dude, you are a goddamn demon. I'm like, and everyone compares him to Phil Bozeman, and I'm like, he is right there with Phil Bozeman. I'm like,
I love Phil Bozeman, and he is like a gladiator when it
Yeah.
comes to music. But Alex Terrible is. I'm sorry, I've never heard such brute force.
I was like,
and
just like the live video that goes around right now is him doing the song, and then he throws the mic away,
and you just have
and the vocal power that comes. I'm like,
it's ins-
oh my god.
I'm honestly surprised how he didn't fucking pass out. That was insane. The
Right.
whole crowd
Oh, yeah.
went quiet.
And then he does it like every
yeah.
show.
dude,
I'm
and it's like perfect. It's like,
oh,
dude,
yeah.
how? What did you do?
Yeah, right.
Like,
It's
what is
like-
your regimen? Tell me now. Write a book. I will buy it.
Right? It's like you should be giving me the tutorials on how to do this.
Dude, I would love to do that. He honestly would probably make insane amount of money off to do that.
But then when you watch him on Instagram, nicest guy ever.
Oh yeah, no, he's a sweetheart.
Like yeah, like
That's
seriously,
like
I'm
all-
like,
that's everybody. Have you noticed
Yeah,
that?
oh, yeah,
Everybody in
like-
like the metal industry is like we seem aggressive on the face.
I mean, yeah.
And then you meet us and it's just like puppies and kittens. Like what's
Like
up?
actually, I just shared it on my Instagram. Phil Bozeman, he showed like throwback pictures when they were recording their last album.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding his dog, which is this tiny little white dog named Coco.
I
don't know what it is, but it's this tiny little dog, and I'm like, you were screaming about Jack the Ripper on your first album. How are you the vocalist of Whitechapel?
because we have feelings.
I'm like, this doesn't make sense. But
Yeah,
anyways,
no,
I digress.
I honestly think that's like a perfect place to end this too, because we have fit. We're about an hour in.
Screw it.
So
Yeah. Dude.
I'm definitely having you back on because I have to find these notes because I actually had more questions. I may have asked like actually 3
I
questions.
think
on
you
that
asked like
list.
2 questions. I just kind of
Dude,
went with
that
it.
is
Like,
perfect. I love this so much. I really enjoyed having you on. Thank you
Yeah,
for
dude.
coming, man.
Hell yeah, dude, of
And
course.
if you have anything you want to say about your promotion and everything, just,
also, the fact you brought me on to like help out with that, and like we didn't talk about it at all, like
no,
a
man.
very minuscule part of it. But yeah, no, Just Breathe Entertainment, Instagram and Facebook. Also, I'm gonna throw this promo out there. It's going to be released soon, but follow Country Heavy 585 on Instagram.
oh, yeah.
New T-shirt line coming out.
Ooh, you said a Country Heavy 5.
Country Heavy 585.
All right, everybody check that out on Instagram. And yeah, this was JT on Music to Us podcast. If any of you guys are interested in coming on, just DM me or even just shoot me a message on email or something like that. The email is going to be musictouspod@gmail.com. And if you guys would like to follow me on YouTube at Music to Us Pod, Instagram is also Music to Us Pod, and Also, if you guys use Podbean, that's also where I post these videos. But I'm going to be posting it both on Podbean and on YouTube. So thank you guys for listening. JT, thank you for coming on. And
yeah, man, dude. Hell yeah.
Country Heavy 585, right?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right.